When a masculine man is in love with you, it is very evident and it is very obvious. And in this video, I want to talk about the 7 things that a masculine man will say to you so that you can determine whether or not he's deeply in love with you. It's not just words. Masculine men demonstrate through their actions. But in this video, I want to focus on the things that a man will specifically say to you when you are in a relationship with him or any sort of long-term commitment with him. This video applies to women that are in relationships, or let's say you were in a relationship with someone and you are not with them anymore and it's been a period of time and now he's coming back. He's gonna say these things, and that's how you're gonna know that he's serious in his intent with being with you. It's also important to note that men, especially men that are in their masculine energy, are gonna mess up. Like, they're not gonna do things the way that we are gonna want certain things to be done or handled because we are women. And if you're more in your feminine energy, you're very different from him. Masculine energy and feminine energy are the dynamics that I speak about and I teach about in my work and in my videos. I want to help convey how masculine man shows up when he loves a woman. As I mentioned, there's going to be times where he makes a mistake or things don't work out the way that you would hope because he's just learning, and there's a lot that goes in with that. But if he says these 7 things to you, you are going to know that his intentions are pure and that he really does love you and he's not just like playing games with you. I hope this video is of value to you, and if it is, please subscribe, please share this video to other people, and definitely leave a comment as well. So the number 1 thing that a man is going to say to you if he deeply loves you is, "I'm sorry." This sounds simple, but it's really important to keep in mind that masculine energy is very honorable and all about integrity and maintaining respect and boundaries, and they always want to do the right thing. If a man blunders or makes a mistake and you realize that he's not taking any responsibility, he probably doesn't love you, because a man that loves you is always going to take accountability for his mistakes, even if in the beginning he has a hard time doing that, because again, men that are masculine in their energy have a pride and they have ego, and that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. It's their way of protecting themselves, so it's fair and it's fine. But if they really love you, they're going to put their pride aside, and if they're wrong, they're going to communicate that to you and they're going to make things right. So they are going to say, "I'm sorry." So if a man has done something and if you don't know if the situation warrants an apology and you need help with that, you can always purchase an email question, which is $97. You can email me your specific situation and I can give you my input on that. My partner is also chiming in now with some of these relationship questions, so if you want his advice as well, you can put that in the email and I'm sure he would love to chime in. If it's warranted, because sometimes it's not warranted, but if it's warranted, a man will definitely tell you, "I'm sorry." He's going to put his pride aside to make sure that everything with you is okay. The second thing he's going to say, now let me look at my notes, is okay. So a man that deeply loves you is going to always communicate that he wants you to feel comfortable and feel secure. And that means that sometimes he's just going to fall on the sword, is a word my partner uses, and he's going to say okay. In Secrets of the Feminine Woman, I talk about reasonableness. So everything has to be reasonable, but he's going to bend a little, right? So that's what okay means. Okay means I might not want to do it this way, but I can see that this is something that's really important to you and it's not that big of a deal for me. So okay, it's just giving you the reins a little bit, right? We want to do that with men, but we want a man to also do that for us. We want a man not so rigid with certain things if that doesn't make us happy, or just to be flexible, right? So a man that loves you is going to be more flexible with you, and he's going to be more flexible with you in terms of what makes you feel good, and he's going to do things for you that maybe he might not feel comfortable with. And so an example of this is, I'm really interested in growing my community and meeting more like-minded people and going to events or into the same things as me about the world, and my partner is not really into that. He doesn't really care to go to those things, but if that's important to me, then he will drop everything he has to do to come with me to an event. That's him just saying, okay, like, this is not something I just generally would want to do, but if it makes Farine happy, then I'll do it. Another silly example is 90 Day Fiancé. So I love watching 90 Day Fiancé and things on TLC, and sometimes I'll want to watch that on a Sunday night and we're together, and yeah, he'll watch with me, right? Is it something he prefers to watch? No, but he knows how much I love it, so he'll watch that with me. But That being said, I will also watch things with him that I might not necessarily like, and I'll say okay to. For example, hockey. He's a big hockey guy. If I don't want to watch hockey, but there's a big game on or he really wants to watch it, I will say okay, and I will watch the hockey game. It's like a give and a take, but a man that deeply loves you is going to do the things that make you happy, even if it isn't something that they would want to do. They want to please you, and so you will find that they will bend a lot for you, and you won't have to like beg for those things. I don't have to beg my fiance to watch 90 Day Fiance with me. He just knows Sunday night at 8 o'clock it's what I do and what I want to do, and because he wants to be with me and he wants to be around me, that's something that he will do for me. There's no convincing him to do that. And the third thing that a man that deeply loves you, and this will apply more if there's been like conflict in the relationship or there's been tension or anything like that, is what can I do to make it better? So a man that deeply loves you is going to want to fix it with you as soon as possible. And again, if he's made a mistake, on top of the fact that he'll say sorry and he'll take accountability, he will say, what can I do to make it better? He is going to want to own up to whatever it is that he did, and he's going to want to make you feel safe. And the way he does that is he's going to ask you, what can I do to make it better? If he's not saying, what can I do to make it better, the sorry is just a sorry. Like, we always want a follow-up to the apology, because again, words don't really mean anything. What you want to see is that there's the intention behind the I'm sorry. And how a man demonstrates that is by asking you, what can he do to make it better for you? Because he knows that what he might think he needs to do to make it better may conflict with what you would need for him to make it better. And so he's going to obviously want to gravitate more toward what it is that you would need to make it better, because I mean, he wants to make you happy. He wants to please you. Fourth, this might sound obvious, but it might not be super obvious to all of you, is he's going to say, I love you. This is so important. Sometimes we get into relationships with men and men don't say, I love you, right? I know this because my dad never said I love you to me, right? Believe it or not. But in a relationship then, when we've had experiences like that with our parents, we might find ourselves in relationships or long-term partnerships with a man that mirrors the relationship with our father. A man that deeply loves you is going to say, I love you. He's going to tell you that he loves you because he wants you to feel, again, safe and secure. That's the main intention of a masculine energy man. He's not going to leave room for doubt there for you to think that you don't love him. And he's going to communicate this often. My partner tells me he loves me before bed. He tells me maybe throughout the day. I also will say that to him, but for sure, before bed, he will at least, at a bare minimum, tell me he loves me once a day. And that's bare minimum. He's gonna tell you that because that's how he feels. A man that deeply loves you is going to for sure communicate to you that he loves you. If he's not communicating to you that he loves you and you're in a long relationship with him, or he's not saying those words, then something else might be going on and he might not be feeling connected to you, and he might not be feeling that. So that's something that we want to look at. The fifth thing a man that deeply loves you is going to say is, you're my woman. Masculine energy men want to claim you and they're going to say, you're my woman. I think my fiance even said it in the video that we did together recently, in the mindset of a committed man. I think he even said, you're my girl, you're my woman. So they'll say that because they want to claim you, right? And they unconsciously will just communicate that to you. And in just randomly in conversation, they'll just say, you're my woman, right? So they'll feel this like desire to claim you as theirs. And one of the ways that they do that is just to reaffirm that you're my woman, right? However that shows up, it just depends. But you'll notice, I notice that this is something that my partner has said to me throughout our entire relationship. You're my woman. Of course I'm going to do this. You're my woman. And he makes it known that he sees me as his girl or as his woman. So of course he's going to do this. Of course he's going to do that. So however that looks to you, that is something that they're going to communicate to you as well. Sixth thing that a man that deeply loves you is going to communicate to you and is going to say to you is, I want you to feel safe and secure. So masculine energy men always want their woman to feel safe and secure and to feel comfortable in a situation or in who they are or anything like that. And so he's going to communicate to you that you feel safe and secure. Now, I said that this video is going to be for long-term relationships, and it is, because in long-term relationships, there's going to be discord sometimes. And what you're going to notice is that there's going to be periods where you don't feel safe and secure, or you might not feel very happy with the way he's dealing with things. What he's going to do on his side is he's going to reaffirm and communicate to you that I want you to feel safe and secure. So even if I'm not handling something the correct way, I want you to feel safe and secure. And you're going to hear those words coming from him. Last but not least, a man that deeply loves you is going to say, I want to marry you. A masculine energy man that deeply loves you is going to communicate that he wants to marry you. He's going to want to marry you. There's never going to be a doubt. There's never going to be you wanting to marry him and him not wanting to marry you. He's going to want to marry you. Now, there's going to be commitment fears, and I can do a different video on that. My partner and I also went through this because masculine energy men, of course, there is fear around commitment, especially if a man has been with a masculine energy woman in the past and unhealthy women, which is really the case. Like I always say, there's a lot of unhealthy women out there and it scares men. So of course, when they move into something and after the initial phases of a relationship, that fear is going to come up. That's completely normal. But throughout the relationship, even like earlier on, once things get solidified, he's going to say things like, you're it, you're the one. I've never felt like this before. I can't explain it. I've never felt like this. I want to marry you. And he's going to want to marry you. And if the dynamic is healthy, it's the woman that's going to want to take her time with it. But even if a woman wants to get married, the woman wants to make sure if she's a healthy feminine woman, she's not in a rush. So even in my situation, my partner is ready to marry me tomorrow, like now, right? But for me, there's other things that are involved with that, and I'm not in a rush for that step if I know that I'm going to be with my partner forever anyway. What I'm the most concerned about is making sure that we are happy, we understand each other, and our dynamic is healthy and good. And when the time is right to get married, we'll get married, but he is going to want to be married. So if it is that you want to get married and he doesn't want to get married, the dynamic is off and something is making him hesitant to take that next step. If everything is good and you are showing up in a high value feminine way, you can read Secrets of the Feminine Woman, and you feel good to be around, etc., and he deeply loves you, he's going to say, I want to marry you. If you are the one that rushes into that or anything like that, that's something to look out for. But if a man really deeply loves you, that is for sure something that he's going to say to you. If you've been in a long-term relationship where he has not said, I want to marry you, he is not feeling those feelings for you, you're just not the one. And again, there could be things that are going on in the dynamic that are stalling him. So definitely book a call with me, or the fastest way is to book an email session and tell me what's going on in your situation, and then I can email you with my input of what's going on. And sometimes I think the email session is even better because you'll have it in writing, right? You'll have everything there that you need to know. Okay, my loves, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.